Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute sheer astonishment that is the Kedarnath Temple. It's this incredibly unique place where extreme geography, ancient mountain engineering, and deep spiritual mythology just completely collide. We're talking about a site situated at over 11,700 feet up in the Garhwal Himalayas. It's literally a structure that defies logic and stands as this ultimate testament to human resilience.
I mean, think about it. How exactly does an ancient stone building manage to survive an apocalyptic, modern-day flood? And not just that, but also spend 400 years completely crushed underneath a solid glacier? Well, that is the exact mystery we're unpacking today. We're going to look at the hard, scientific data, the mind-blowing geological history, and the profound myths surrounding it all.
Let's jump right into Chapter 1, the 2013 Flood Miracle. To really wrap our heads around the sheer resilience of this ancient structure, we've got to look at the devastating power of nature it faced back in June 2013. Now, this wasn't just your average storm. It was an extreme hydrometeorological event. Basically, an early monsoon dumped a staggering 390 millimeters of rainfall in just a few days. Combine that with rapid snowmelt, and it triggered a massive outburst from Chorabari Lake right above the temple. This lethal debris flow came hurtling directly toward the settlement at terrifying speeds.
And the scale of the destruction? It was almost incomprehensible. Tragically, the surrounding regions suffered catastrophic devastation, with around 6,000 lives lost across the state of Uttarakhand. Entire roads, modern hotels, heavy infrastructure just completely washed away by mud and boulders. But, right at the center of this absolute devastation, the temple miraculously stood its ground.
So, how did it survive? The mechanism behind its survival is honestly incredible. See, a massive 20 to 25-foot rock weighing somewhere around a staggering 1,000 metric tons got swept down by those violent floodwaters. But instead of slamming into the temple and crushing it, it wedged itself perfectly, right about 50 feet behind the structure. Today, it's revered as the Bhim Shila, or God's Rock. It literally acted like a giant shield, splitting that raging debris flow into two separate streams that just bypassed the temple entirely. That single rack ended up saving the 300 people who had taken shelter inside.
Moving right along to Chapter 2, Mythology and Ancient Origins.
After seeing a modern survival marvel like that, it really begs the question, who built a structure capable of surviving an apocalyptic event? Well, the temple's history is deeply interwoven with epic Indian mythology. The initial founding goes all the way back to the Pandava brothers from the Mahabharata epic, who built it seeking to atone for the sins of a devastating war. Jumping forward a bit, the great 8th century philosopher Adi Shankaracharya is the one credited with reviving the temple. And finally, historical inscriptions tell us that Raja Bhoj of Malwa actually constructed the massive stone edifice we see standing today, right around the 11th century.
But the mythology goes even deeper into the geography of the Himalayas. Legend actually says Lord Shiva wanted to hide from the Pandavas, so he disguised himself as a bull. When one of the Pandavas, Bhima, tried to catch him, the bull vanished right into the earth. The amazing part here? His body parts are said to have manifested at 5 distinct mountain locations across the region. These are known as the Panch Kedar. Kedarnath, where the hump of the bull appeared, is considered the most prominent of these highly sacred shrines.
Let's transition over to Chapter 3, Secrets of the Architecture.
So, we've got the faith and the myth. But what about the actual physics? How does this building endure the harsh Himalayan extremes year after year? The contrast here is absolutely fascinating. While millions of devotees point to the divine intervention of the Bhim Shila rock during the 2013 floods, structural engineers point straight to the masonry. The temple is constructed using giant stone slabs joined together with an advanced, ancient, interlocking technology. And get this, they used absolutely no mortar or cement. This ingenious dry stone interlocking actually allows the heavy walls to flex and shift slightly during earthquakes, letting it withstand immense external pressure without shattering. It's brilliant.
And we know for a fact just how robust that interlocking technology is. Scientists from the Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology conducted luminescence dating on the temple stones, and they literally found glacial striations, scratch marks on the exterior walls. This proves that from the 13th to the 17th century, a period known as the Little Ice Age, the temple was completely engulfed and crushed under a moving glacier. 400 years under solid ice, and it didn't collapse. It literally just waited for the ice to melt.
That brings us to Chapter 4, the Geographic Alignment Mystery.
As if surviving floods and centuries of glacial crushing wasn't astonishing enough, the temple's physical placement on the globe introduces a mind-bending geographical mystery. Kedarnath sits exactly on the 79-degree east longitude line, But wait, it is not alone. This precise longitudinal axis spans an incredible 2,383 kilometers down the entire Indian subcontinent. It perfectly aligns Kedarnath way up in the north with Rameswaram down at the very southern tip of India. Think about that. This is a geometric feat achieved centuries, possibly millennia, before GPS, satellites, or modern surveying equipment even existed.
And what's really wild is what sits on that line. In between Kedarnath and Rameswaram sit 5 magnificent shrines dedicated to the Panchabhuta, or the 5 fundamental elements of the universe: water, air, earth, fire, and sky, or ether. Whether this is just an extraordinary coincidence or points to a profoundly deep ancient understanding of geography, architecture, and cosmic balance, well, it remains one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world.
Okay, let's look at Chapter 5, Sacred Rituals and Modern Access.
Today, the temple isn't just some quiet archaeological relic. It's a highly active, living monument requiring intense logistical and spiritual coordination. It's overseen by the Rawal, a head priest from the Avira Shiva community all the way down south in Karnataka. And surprisingly, these primary rituals in the high Himalayas are actually conducted in the Kannada language, which preserves a centuries-old tradition. During the summer months, devotees can participate in highly structured pujas, ranging from a 950 rupee morning puja all the way up to an extensive full-day dedication.
But things change drastically when winter sets in. Due to heavy, completely impassable snow, the temple closes for 6 months, and the deity is ceremonially moved down to Ukimath. But here is the kicker. Before the priests lock those heavy doors, they leave a single oil lamp burning inside. Legend states that when extreme winter forces humans out, deities and celestial beings take over the worship. Amazingly, when the priests return half a year later to unlock the doors, that single oil lamp is purportedly still burning.
Now, balancing all this ancient magic is the modern push for accessibility. As we look at the present day in 2026, massive infrastructure projects are well underway. Ever since the 2013 floods, safety has been paramount. So there's a staggering 4,081 crore rupee, 12.9 kilometer ropeway project from Sonprayag to Kedarnath that's set to drastically modernize access. Once it's finished, it's going to cut what is normally a grueling 8-hour high-altitude trek down to a mere 36-minute cable car ride. It's going to completely change how the world interacts with the shrine.
But even with modern cable cars and advanced structural engineering, the future of the temple is tied to the volatile earth it sits upon. I'll leave you with this haunting, ancient Hindu prophecy to ponder. It actually states that when the Nar and Narayan mountains eventually merge, the paths to these shrines will be sealed forever, giving rise to a new shrine called Bhavishya Kedar. Considering the extreme geological shifts, the tectonic activity of the Himalayas, and the past disasters we've just seen, is it possible this seemingly indestructible temple is destined to one day vanish completely back into the mountains? And what ancient secrets will it take with it when it does? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.